Hello, this is Top Prep Sports Interviews by Sunil. Tonight, I'm happy to be speaking with Izabella Adams, a freshman at Gilbert High School in Gilbert, South Carolina, and a softball player whose primary position is a right-handed pitcher, secondary position, a shortstop, and third position is second base. Once again, Izabella, thank you so much for taking time out. It's great to be speaking with you.
You're welcome.
Hey, a busy 2022 that you're wrapping up, Isabella, playing softball, participating in various showcases, tournaments. And I love that picture and that quote that you have on Twitter, the life of a traveling bowler, living out of suitcases. Obviously displaying that grit and determination, having a passion for playing the sport. And, I just was scrolling through Twitter I've heard a lot of players say this, having the right mindset, also participating in hitting clinics as well. Looking back now that you have a chance on 2022, I'm wondering what comes to your mind, just in terms of, again, the level of success that you were able to accomplish again, Isabella.
Um, are you saying what do I think I was successful at?
Yeah, just in terms of 2022, I mean, you got to travel quite a bit, to various states, and then of course within South Carolina. And I was just wondering, when you look back here, I mean, again, you played for a bunch of teams: Atlanta Premier, Carolina Dynamite, Carolina Magic, and Team B. So, I mean, just again, the fact that you were able to really excel at the game, and just in terms of playing a number of tournaments. Just can you just speak to that?
I could say it was fun. I got to meet new people that I haven't met, especially in All American games. Like
Mhm.
it you have to you don't really go to the All American games with people you know. You just go to have fun and get seen by the college people who are there.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I want to ask you is that, and you mentioned this in between tournaments. There are college, prospects there. There are, of course, people. I'm sure like scouts and recruiters, but just being able to go up against some of the best talent there is, not only in the state of South Carolina but across the country as well. Can you talk about that? Just being able to measure up and just seeing where you rank, but just like in terms of playing with other athletes as well. Just, I mean, seeing what they could do as well on the field.
I feel like that is almost like an honor because some people they can't get up to that level where they can't compete with people like that. I feel like it's easier to almost like push myself a little further to
Mm-hmm.
excel and be a little bit better every day.
Yeah,
At,
no, it's a great attitude to have. Yeah, definitely. Hey, let's just talk about some of your accolades. I mean, this summer, starting in July with the United States Sports Specialty Sports Association Summer World Series, undefeated tournament champs, and then later at the end of the month, runner-up champs in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. You were the recipient of the Pitching Ace Award. That had to mean a lot to you, that personally, just to be recognized again for your hard work. And definitely, everything that you did off the field, paid off on the field. Those results showed. Just talk about, said the month of July, just how that panned out for you, Isabella.
I was a little nervous going in as first because I knew there was other good pitchers that were going to be on that team. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of that on my shoulders to push myself to get what was I gonna say? To not be better, but or compare myself, but push myself to be better that day
Mm-hmm.
than they were.
Yeah. Hey, just talk about the overall environment, just in terms of being in those showcases and tournaments. I mean, that you have the teammates, coaching staffs, the crowd itself. Just talk about it must have been very exciting for you, to be a part of that, uh, those events.
It was very exciting because like not everybody gets to go to those things. It felt like really like special to me with seeing all the
Mhm.
people being around coaches and like girls who are as good as me and we get to play together. It
Yeah.
was it was exciting.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful to hear. And what's so impressive about the fact that you're getting to again, travel around, be a part of these showcases and tournaments. They're also for worthy causes as well. And that the thing is that I think that should not be underscored. The fact that it's benefiting, again, just going to October. There was a pink out at Columbia, South Carolina with Dynamite 07. You received the Top Gun, home run award. Had an RBI infield. It said home run against Carolina Hustle in the finals. Just talk about those events, and then there was a one at the end of the month, also in Columbia, South Carolina, uh, where I think there was a first place gold bracket, tournament champs. You were the winning pitcher with the winning score, infield home run. I mean, that had to be really. I mean, just the fact that you were really was be some of the breakout moments of 2022, but definitely during that month were highlighted. Just talk about those events as well.
Definitely getting the home runs things meant a lot to me because it meant that I was excelling in hitting
Mm-hmm.
and the pitching awards and all that with the shutouts and stuff that also meant I was excelling in pitching and
Mm-hmm.
definitely all the championships that meant the team was working together and we were like winning and we weren't losing as much as we were winning.
Yeah, I mean, it really does take an entire team if you want to, not only have a winning record, but also win a championship. Everyone has got to be on the same page, players and coaching staff. And one of the events, of course, going to November, Top Gun Sports event in North Augusta, South Carolina, and then November 19th, Top Gun Crushing Cancer in the CRSA. Talk about that event, specifically, Isabella.
That event, um, what was it again?
Oh, just I wanted to ask you about November 19th. There was the Top Gun Crushing Cancer in the CRSA. If you just wanted to, mention that as well.
I don't remember that one as well, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, no problem. Hey, wrapping it up, December 3rd, there was the eighth annual US, I think again, SSA Toys for Kids, benefiting the Prisma Health Children's Hospital, Lexington, South Carolina, for Carolina Dynamite 14U. Another, again, worthy cause. Can you just talk about that event as well?
That that one was like really important to me because I'm giving like toys to little kids
Hmm.
that um weren't like able to get toys that they want. So I was
Hmm.
giving this to them that weren't able to. And being able to play in that tournament also felt special because it was like I was not only me was benefiting something from it, but the kids at the toys at the hospital that were getting the toys were benefiting
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, that's fantastic, especially around this time of the year, holiday season. And I think it's important. I think it really puts life into perspective because, the fact that there are kids out there, children. I'm a father of two kids, and, you see a lot of kids that are in the hospital that are battling illnesses. And, again, it really humbles you, I think. And it's really commendable on your part that the fact that you were taking, part in that and, really paying it forward. Hey, I wanted to switch to training for a softball season. There's so much that goes into it. Strength and conditioning, nutrition, mental health, and I love the model that you have with conditioning and practice, like training and practice. It's a critical component of athlete success. So I wanted to ask you, just in terms of on an individual basis, and the fact that you incorporate uh, a chiropractor as well into your conditioning and the physical maintenance as you talk about in your website. Describe what it takes, for you to prepare for, a softball season, Isabella.
I definitely want to go to the weight room because it like makes me like stronger and it like gives me confidence that I can like push myself further, especially in the
Hmm.
weight transfer to the softball field.
Hmm.
And then normal conditioning like jumping jacks and all that stuff. It also like it gets my like heart pumping and like it where like I'm healthier than most cases. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Hey, you mentioned, in fact, squatting 300 pounds. I mean, that is just, phenomenal. And the fact that you've been improving on your skills, like, as far as your pitches with your hitting, you participated, in the Carolina College Offensive Skills and Exposure Clinic back in June with the South Carolina softball women's head coach Bev Smith. Just talk about that. I'm sure that really, you know, aided you, just helped you out in terms of like, working on your fundamentals and skills. Just talk about that time in June.
That also helped me because getting advice from college coaches helping me to improve from where I was before, and then when they gave me that advice where it brought me now,
Hmm.
it made me better.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you, just in terms of when you're out there, let's say per se, let's first start on the mound, pitching. And I'm wondering what's transpiring through your mind. Like, of course, you have to be on the same page with your catcher, with your infield, just with the whole team in general. But what is that, space? What is that for you when you're locked in, when you're facing, the opposing hitter? I'm wondering what comes to your mind, during the course of a game.
Basically, when I'm pitching, I just think about hitting my spot, and
Hmm.
it helps benefit the team. So it's my job is to like get them to hit it, but if they don't hit it, it's like good too.
Yeah.
And hitting my spots is great because that means I am my practice paid off in the end. Like everything I've done paid off.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, because again, working with the catcher, like you have an arsenal of pitches. I'm wondering, like, just in terms of that sequence, like, what pitch you're going to throw. Like, it just, I'm sure there's a regimen that goes into that. And then, of course, the technique of, again, practicing those pitches and then bringing that, of course, to the forefront in a game situation. But what is that, in terms of developing that chemistry with your catcher? What can you, I mean, I'm sure like, again, you played on multiple teams, but just how that, works out for you personally.
Normally when I get a good catcher, we like click and we get along like really well. Like the one I
Hmm.
have, me and her like get along really well on and off the softball field. So that
Okay.
like pitches and stuff.
Yeah. No, that's great. Hey, I know that putting that number 18 jersey on carries a very significant meaning and importance for you. It's a very emotional story. The fact that you're honoring your late brother Lonnie, who died at the age of 18, loved baseball very much and was on the Gilbert High School baseball team and also a manager as well. I think a team manager. He loved baseball. And I know that you mentioned this, that he taught you to be tough, when it comes to, playing sports, and especially, I'm sure, softball. Just talk about that, that I mean, you definitely carry a heavy heart, but you're definitely honoring your brother's memory every time you take the field.
Like every time I work out and practice for softball, I want to push myself. I don't want to give up because I feel like he's watching me, which he's watching me now
Hmm.
and watching me do this stuff, and I don't want to give up for him. And it feels like I am doing good as I'm working and pushing myself. I want to get better for him, not only my for myself.
Yeah, no, that is again very special, to hear. And it just again, uh just terrific, just on your part, being able to do that. And again, what you've been able to accomplish this year, and then of course years past. So on I guess is it a better note, just in terms of, wanted to ask you about your nickname, the Beast. It comes from I believe Coach Detroit Thompson. He's a physical education teacher, assistant football coach at varsity track and field at Gilbert Elementary School. And here it is. It doesn't matter how big the challenge is or small people may think she is. She's going to compete, and that's why she is the Beast. And I love the mottos that you live by: no fear, game on, and practice nonstop. I'm just wondering, with that nickname, just every time again, whether it's uh whether training, you're on the field, practicing, just talk about that, that nickname.
That nickname has a lot of meaning behind it. It's basically it makes it makes me seem like a person who like never gives up
Hmm.
and herself and is compassionate about the sport and like it's also more than just a sport.
Yeah. As athletes, as when it comes to playing a sport, what are some of the intangibles that stand out for you, like in terms of playing softball? It can be during the course of a game, it can be at practice, it can be training. What is it about the game, for so long you've been playing it for it, just to again to have that um, willingness, to keep on doing it year after year. But what is it for you? What is it about softball that really stands out?
The thing that really stands out is like definitely the win stands out
Hmm.
and it keeps me healthy and it keeps me wanting to keep like it keeps me wanting to like keep moving on
Hmm.
and keep my mind like going forward instead of going backward.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's again a great attitude to have. I love the testimonials from some of your head coaches. JB Hull, Gilbert Girls Softball 12U, a great ball player. The love of the game is in her blood. She always works harder than any other players on the teams, willing to help her teammates to become better players. It stands out, from players that twice as your size. Talk about that. I mean, just again, the fact that you're really willing to go to the distance, put in that time, have that work ethic, and then of course, in embracing the challenge, and Chad Grant from Carolina Dynamite 14U, willing to sacrifice and battle for her teammates, dependable, consistent, and loyal. Those are all wonderful attributes to have. And it just, I mean, when you hear that, from your coaches, I mean, what comes to your mind? I mean, it's got to be a great feeling, Isabella.
It definitely is. It makes me feel like people depend on me and like they trust me and it's not like they have all their weight on my shoulders, but they have some of it and some of
Hmm.
mine. So they depend on me like I depend on them. And
Yeah.
I do helping my teammates because I want them to get better as well as me.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. Uh, I just wanted to ask you as well that it's just not being, as said an athlete, it's being a student athlete. A 4.1, weighted GPA on the honor roll every year, just a chorus and band you participated for 3 years. Talk about that time management organization. It's so key, for you. I just wanted to ask you about that.
I definitely have to keep track of all the things I do because I don't want to not be able to miss out on like course or something.
Hmm.
But I would definitely put course or something probably first before softball because that's like a grade. And then because my education comes first and then softball. Because softball I can always do every day. I can practice for it.
Yeah.
School, I can practice for chorus, but that is something I have to do in school.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not easy to balance it out. I mean, because there's so much that goes into it with, with sports, with athletics, the fact I'm just wondering, like, for you, a lot of kids, students, student athletes will get stressed out, but like, you've been able to cope with that. You've been able to balance that out. Just talk about it just in terms, because there's so much that goes into the athletic part, but then, the fact that here academically, you're definitely excelling in the classroom and the GPA reflects that. I mean, it's going to be very, rewarding for you to know that, again, your hard work pays off in the classroom as well.
I definitely want to keep an eye on my grades because if I don't keep an eye on them, I can't play softball. So I
Yeah.
have to make sure my grades stay up, not worry about anything else, but is what I'm doing in that classroom.
Hmm.
And the I like to make sure I have enough time for softball and school because school I like going to school. It's like fun and important to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see that you're interested in nursing, so you've already started to think about long range now here. In terms of down the road with college, even and you mentioned that a lot of your classes are down the 10th grade hall. So I mean, definitely you have those aspirations. I mean that's again, it's really great to hear that. Just talk about that. I'm again thinking, said, because it's going to be here before you know it as well. I mean, even though you're in your freshman year at Gilbert High School.
I'm a little nervous to get out of high school, but then I'm ready because
Hmm.
I want to do nursing and I want to like help other people, like people who like can't get help. I want to help them.
Hmm.
And that's the only reason I want to do nursing because I like helping people. It's like something else that like it's like softball, but it
Hmm.
like more.
Yeah. No, it's great. Hey, with all the stresses that you have, all the demands, you need to kick back. I know some of your hobbies, you love learning, spending time with animals and livestock. And also spending time with your Beagle Scout. Can you? That's again awesome to hear. Just talking about in that time. I'm sure it really helps you out. Like the fact that you're able to clear your mind and really step back, for a little bit and enjoy those moments. Just elaborate on that, Isabella.
It is definitely fun to have a little break.
Yeah.
And when I am painting, I'm mostly painting for like Christmas presents and sometimes I even watch TV, but that is very not all the time.
Yeah.
And I do play with my dog. We like play tug of war or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I'm painting, I look at the pictures that I look up pictures and then I just paint them like I like copy it off of the picture onto my canvas and
Okay.
say I look does pretty good, but
That's great. I mean, just to have those skills. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. The fact that you enjoy that, it's just again, said, beautiful to hear. Hey, support from family is really important. I wanted to ask you about especially your dad. Craig Adams, very complimentary of, you know, what you've been able to accomplish on and off the field. He talks about how humble you are, but also how much of a competitor you are as well. Just in terms of your athletic ability, your awareness, and just the fact that you demonstrate a lot of composure, a lot of poise and confidence in tight spots. Because you know what? Especially in those tournaments and showcases, when you're in front of, I don't know, hundreds, maybe 1,000, but just and the fact that all eyes are on you and you have to compete, you're trying to, be the best you can at your position. Just talk about the fact that to hear that from your dad, I'm sure again is very impactful and it really again means a lot to you personally.
yeah, I would not be able to do the things I do without him because he's always there for me, just like my mom is. But
Hmm.
he's like my best friend, and he's always been there for me when I needed to talk to him or do anything like that. He's always been helping with softball and like helping my coaches when they needed him. Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do stuff I do now without him.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you about your coaches as well. I know you touched on it a little bit, but coaches, again, play a integral part as well in a player's success. If there are any particular coaches that you want to mention, maybe I mentioned them already, but that you wanted to, definitely give a shout out to and, and thank as well.
Definitely Coach Chat because he's almost like my dad, but he's like a softball coach dad.
Hmm.
And because he's the dynamite, they're like a big family and he likes everything to be family, but he also likes to win too.
Yeah.
Like it's fun being around him because he always likes to laugh and joke and have a good time. It's
Hmm. Hey, as I alluded to earlier in the interview, you played for 4 teams this year. So I'm wondering, going from team to team, uh, how did that work out? Like, just in terms of, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, to make that adjustment, but again, you were able to do it seamlessly. But just talk about playing for four teams. I mean, again, that's just remarkable.
Yeah, it's a little stressful.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to be the best I can for how many teams I'm playing. Even if I'm playing for 10 teams in a year, I want to
Hmm.
be the best I can for that specific team, the one I'm playing for that day or weekend.
Yeah.
I like they almost like go off of my schedule because
Hmm.
like they have some games without me, but like they most of my games are like with mostly with the Dynamite because they're like my main team.
Okay.
So and then
That's
all the
great.
other go around the Dynamite or something like that.
Okay, great. Hey, I had to mention this. I love the banner in the background. I love that, with softball. So obviously, like, your heart is fully invested 100% in that's great to hear. I think you're in a perfect spot, Isabella, to offer some much needed advice to younger kids athletes, knowing how competitive it's out there. It's not easy playing one sport for so long. I mean, again, knowing how the competition is out there, and I'm wondering, like, what you would say to, and one thing I almost skipped over was that we have social media. I mean, we have now where you can be able to post your content, your highlights out there, so that just adds to the mix. But what would you say in terms of just trying to move up the ladder, balance out, of course, the academics and athletics, and just try to really succeed in playing athletics, and especially for young girls out there who are playing softball as well.
I definitely would tell a younger child to like not let anybody stand in the way of your dreams. If you have a certain dream, like being a professional softball player or something, playing in college, like
Hmm.
you stick with that dream. Don't let anybody tell you any other way. Like if you don't want to play softball, like if it's just a hobby and you want to like be in band for all the way to college, don't let anybody stand in your way of doing that. And
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's sound advice. Hey, you seen the again immense success of Team USA in softball in the Olympics, and last summer it was great to see that in Tokyo, Japan. I just talk about uh when you see these players out there. Now we see the professional leagues even here in America. How inspiring is that? To see those players out there and, like, I mean, go from, they were, said, travel ball, high school, on to college, and then eventually ending up in the Olympics and even playing professional ball. But uh, for you, what do you take from that? When do you see the players out there, and then again them,
I feel like
elevating? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
like if they could do it, I feel like I could do it. So I like push myself like to compare to them and I want to be just like them and play professionally.
Hmm.
I get out of college. I want to do that because
Hmm.
I little girls would look up to me and I like when people look up to me
Yeah.
because it makes me feel good about myself, like I'm doing something good and right.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Just trying to be, that role model, for young kids, athletes, and girls as well. I'm just sure you want to answer this next one before you get the last word. I just wanted to, about Gilbert High School, just in terms of the student body, the administration, athletics, just in terms of the support, from them, just teachers as well, at Gilbert High School. If you, just wanted to, describe that.
I definitely get support from them. If like say in my math class I'm having trouble, but I
Hmm.
have softball right after school. So I would go early in the morning to get help like if I couldn't do it after school since I have softball. And they would be so supportive of me. Like my chorus teacher and my softball coach came to agreement because I can't do softball and chorus. So they came to
Hmm.
agreement hear me. Like I do chorus one day and then softball the next. They're like
Okay.
really supportive and they like understand everything.
Yeah, that's fabulous to hear, because sometimes, you know, if there are going to be clashes there, but it's great to see everybody, you know, on the same page there as well. Hey, one hobby I definitely forgot to ask you about, it just like popped into my head, was that you love the ocean. So it's like, you know, that's something that I'm sure that brings a lot of peacefulness, a lot of serenity for you, that you know, again, we talk about clearing your mind, you know, just what, when you're at the beach, when you're at the ocean, what is it about that, you know, that again is so enjoyable for you?
Like I don't have to think about anything. I don't have a lot of pressure. It just goes away, and I can just like breathe and have fun
Hmm.
and spend time with my parents that like they do everything for me, and then I don't get to like thank them a lot, but I do
Yeah.
thank them, and I like get to spend time with them and have some time in the ocean too.
Yeah, no, that's again, that's super. Hey, as we embark here onto 2023, I'm wondering, you know, for you, what is it about that, you know, the expectations, you know, that, you know, you're setting out for yourself, that, you know, you want to accomplish in 2023? Coming off a banner year in 2022, but as we head into 2023, what is coming to your mind? I know that we still have, you know, again, about several days left until the year ends, but just what is coming to your mind? What are you thinking about as we, you know, we as 2023 nears?
I definitely want to get better at pitching and hitting because when I hit my first home run, that
Yeah.
I felt a little doubt that I couldn't do it again.
Hmm.
But as I was going, like moving forward, I was starting to feel like my parents were like, "You can do it again. You just have to have faith." So I started like having a little bit more faith that I could do it again,
Yeah.
and like I've been getting closer and closer again. So I like want to excel in hitting as much as I do as pitching because I want to
Hmm.
be best I can for pitching as much as I am for hitting.
Yeah, that's what I forgot to ask you, was that the infield position, second base and shortstop, but then hitting is a, you know, again, just a crucial element of your game. I'm wondering, when you hit one of those out of the park, what you're rounding the bases, what is it? I mean, when do you know you've connected, you know, on one and you've hit it, you know, right? I said on the perfect spot of the bat. What is it about that moment that when you're rounding the bases? I had to ask you about Isabella.
The first time I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just hit that."
Yeah.
And I haven't done it again yet, but like
Okay.
feel like I would probably feel like I did that and I know I can do it again because I just did. And yeah.
Yeah. Hey, playing the infield, you know, I said again, it takes a lot of work. I'm wondering, like, and again, you know, being on the same page with your infielders. What is it about playing second base? Uh, you know, I said even shortstop. What is it about those positions?
I feel like they're just as important as pitcher or catcher because if the ball gets hit to you and you miss it, that like brings down some of the players and especially your pitcher who's like doing a lot of work to
Hmm.
out. And one like it's just as important because you have to stop the ball and make an out, just like a pitcher has to pitch the ball to get a strike.
Hmm. Hey, for you, are there any pre-game rituals that you go through in terms of getting ready for a game? That I always, you know, I definitely have to ask athletes about that. Is anything Super Sisters for you, Isabella?
Definitely for the dynamite, we have to dance.
Okay.
And then we have to square around the bases, and we all have to stand in the exact same spot on the base. I always get a
Hmm.
corner because that is a thing. And then we all have to stand in the spot and we say our prayer, and then we start again.
Yeah. Hey, just traveling around this year, what has that been for, going to different states, as said? What has that been like? I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun, because, like, you know, sometimes not every athlete gets to, you know, do that. But the fact you've been able to do it at such an early age and still have, after, you know, three more years left after freshman year, what is that? What has that been for you? You know, here in 2022.
Traveling was definitely fun. Not
Yeah.
so much car ride, but
Yeah.
definitely going. different states, especially Kentucky, because that was like really fun. I got to see my family that I haven't seen in a while. I've
Okay.
got to go to this big water park, and then I've got to meet new people on the softball field. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. Well, that's tremendous. Hey, Isabella, I wanted to give you the final word and message here for family, friends, teammates, coaches, of course, Gilbert High School, the student body, the administration, athletics there, and then, the town itself. Just uh, any words that you have, for any of those people, said people I've mentioned, and basically you got the final say here, Isabella.
I definitely want to thank all my teachers for being so supportive that they've been. And I want to thank my coaches for pushing me and making me get better. Definitely my athletic directors, because I wouldn't be able to play school ball without them either, because they manage all that. And yeah.
Sounds good. Hey, Isabella, again, just an incredible honor and privilege, being able to speak with you and, hear your background story, in softball. It's very inspirational. And again, wishing you continued success, as I said, the rest of your freshman season and heading into 2023, and looking forward to seeing what you do down the road.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing that, making new friends and all that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.